guys, welcome back to my channel. September is over, which means it's time for September favorites. I've got a lot to say. I'm gonna jump right into it. And yes, I am wearing a scarf. Today is actually the first day I am wearing a scarf. Did I just say I was gonna jump right into it? Because I totally just took a tangent. Anyway, I am wearing a scarf. I love scarves. I try to wear them in the summer, but I'm such a sweater that sometimes wearing scarves just really is not a good look for me when I become all like dewy looking and then can feel the sweat dripping down my back. But scarves are like one of my most favorite accessories. I will spend $5 on a scarf. Yes, you can get amazing scarves at Walmart for $5. I will spend $100 on a scarf. If the scarf speaks to me, I welcome it into my collection. And so, yay, day one of wearing a scarf. You know why? Because it's fall. And in the fall, we wear scarves. Let's get to my September favorites. The first thing I want to talk about has to do with the last video that I posted, which was my review of the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Foundation. I will link that video here if you want to go check it out. I got a ton of compliments, thank you so much, on the eye look that I was wearing in that video, which is also exactly the same eye look that I'm wearing in this video, which is also the eye look that I'm going to film a fall tutorial on, which I will be posting next week. The reason I'm loving this eye look, and I think you guys wound up appreciating it too, is because it comes from the Urban Decay Ultimate Naked Basics palette, which, there went the brush, which is what I have been playing with ever since I got it a week or two ago, or however long it was, and I have been absolutely loving this palette. Clearly, it winds up creating very pretty looks. I do not own either of the original Naked Basics palettes because I just felt, I don't know, they just looked like they were so bland. I mean, I know they were supposed to be basic palettes, but all of the shadows, they just, I don't know, they just kind of looked all the same. And I was like, you know what? I have my own shadows that do that. I've got my own individual pans. I can replicate you on my own. But the reason I love this palette is because it has some really intense warm colors. It's got some really intense cool colors, meaning this really fabulous gray right here and this really kind of orangey brown. The shadows are tremendously pigmented, and in fact the first couple of days that I used this palette I had to like dumb it down because I applied way too much pigment and color to my lids, because I was like, oh my god, where did all this color come from? And so I will be doing the eye look that I'm wearing right now, and I will talk a little bit more about this palette in the next week or so, but I'm definitely loving the Ultimate Basics palette, and I am finally happy that I was able to introduce a basics palette into my life. Speaking of palettes, another palette that I have absolutely loved this month will be very easy for me to talk you through because it's pretty cut and dried. It's by Hourglass. It is the newly released Ambient Lighting Edit Surreal Light, which is a palette full of never before released shades and powders. So what you get is an all over finishing powder, you get a highlighting powder, a bronzing powder, and then 2 alternating blush powders. Now, let me just say this. I live for the Hourglass powders. I think they are amazing. I have all styles and varieties. I've got blush, the bronzer, I've got a couple of the strobing lighting, highlighting powders, and I've got a couple of the all over kind of setting finishing powders. Each of those individual compacts, first of all, are huge. You will never go through it. You just will never go through it. They're also very expensive. And so I know that turns a lot of people off to those because it is such a high price, but I feel like you're missing out. And so for approximately 80 or so odd dollars, you wind up getting a palette that can do your entire face. Now the highlighter here will not be so major that you're going to scare people that you're highlighted so much from like down the street, which you know is always something that I'm very concerned about. The blush colors, one is kind of a pinky and one is kind of a more neutrally one. So either one can work with whatever sort of eye look that you're using. The deal with this is you wind up getting smaller size compacts and you're able to sample the entire line. And so honestly, even though these compacts are smaller in size, you're never going to get through them. I've been using them since I got the palette and it doesn't even look like I've touched it. And so if you've been holding off on Hourglass powders individually speaking, I really think this palette happens to be a good investment. I am wearing the entire palette on my face, and you are able to just create a soft, luminous, sort of semi-glow look, just not 100% matte, because all of these powders are laced with this surreal light, which is the shadow or the shade here on the side. And so they are all marbled, meaning that they're just kind of, like I said, it's like the color, and then it's just been complemented by the lighting powder. And I think this is genius. I think it allows you, again, to try the product and be able to use it. You're still never going to finish it. And you don't wind up having to spend, $400 because you wound up buying a number of individual compacts. And instead, you get it all in one little guy here. Love. I have a couple of lip products. This one you guys made me buy. It's by Buxom. It is the White Russian kind of lip plumping lip gloss. It's a really good lip gloss to be worn alone. It's just kind of a fainted, kind of just pinky nude. You can use it as a topper. It makes your lips feel luscious and plumpy without like stinging or burning, because really, who wants that? It's just a really basic, good quality gloss. It's not too slippery, it's not too tacky, but I do like that there's a little bit of tack to it, because I don't like my lip gloss to be like swimming all over my lips. And so a lot of you guys recommended it as one of your favorite items over the course of time, and I finally stepped up and got it, so thanks. Real briefly, I just want to mention that EOS, they make the eggs, the lip balms that come and look like an egg, and they come in all the pretty pastel colors and stuff. I actually really enjoy those lip balms, but sometimes I don't feel like carrying around an egg. So when I was in Target, I saw that EOS wound up releasing their lip balm kind of thing in a tubey thing, which I just think is convenient. I like to travel with the tubey thing versus the eggy thing, and by travel, I mean like put in my bag on a regular basis, because sometimes you're not carrying a huge enough bag and you've got this like bulge in it because you've got an egg in there. So sometimes you want the tube and not the egg. Another lip product, which isn't actually a lip coloring product, it is a lip exfoliating product. This is by e.l.f. and it's called the Lip Exfoliator, and it comes in what looks like a lipstick tube, and it's just kind of sugar granules that have been molded into what looks like a lipstick. It allows you to kind of just remove that dead skin and the dry skin kind of patchiness that you might get or might soon get as the winter progresses. I did use the one by Fresh that comes in a little tub, and that one is great as well. This one is a little bit rougher than the one by Fresh, but this one is only $3 versus like 20 bucks that the one by Fresh is. I also like that because it's in this kind of little lipstick bullet here, you're able to very precisely smooth it over your lips and kind of exfoliate where you want to, whereas when you're using a finger, sometimes you wind up going outside your lip perimeter, and then you wind up making outside of your lips a little bit red, which might not be ideal. So I don't know, it's cheap, comes in great packaging, and gets the crap off your lips. I mentioned this next product in a haul, and I miss it when I don't use it, and I keep using it. It's by L'Oreal. It's the Voluminous Base eyelash primer that you wind up applying underneath your mascara. It's white, and it comes with a normal kind of mascara, tube and wand. I mentioned, I think as I've been going along, that I was surprised that I think they've upgraded the formula, because I've tried primers in the past and I haven't liked them. This one does a really nice job of thickening up your lashes, and then you don't wind up having to apply so many coats of mascara, which is pretty convenient if you wind up buying a pricier mascara. Maybe you don't want to go through the tube as quickly. But sometimes when you apply multiple layers and multiple coats of mascara, that's where you get that clumpiness factor, and some mascara formulas are more prone to that than others. So I do find that when I use the voluminous volumizing primer instead, in order to get that volume, I am less inclined to deal with clumpiness, and it actually winds up being a little bit faster. I do recommend that you let this dry first, because one, you don't want to apply mascara, black mascara to white primer. You're going to get like a gray mixture. You also run the risk of transferring the primer off of your lashes back into your mascara tube, which you also don't want to do. But I find that I have not been having that problem. If if I make sure that I allow the primer to dry. And I can sense that I'm getting to the end of this, and I'm feeling like I have to hurry up and get to the store and get a replacement so that I don't have a delay or a lag of in-between time when I don't have my volumizer. Makeup Geek recently released a number of base shadows or basic shadows, as well as a number of foiled shadows. So I purchased a number of those, and I think just generally speaking, her shadows are fabulous. I love her foiled shadows. Those are awesome. So as I was placing that order, waiting for it to arrive, I was kind of thinking of all of my Makeup Geek products and shadows. And so I decided to pull out one that I kind of had thought of without even like running into it again. It just kind of popped into my mind, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go get that one. This shadow is Life. It's a duochrome, and it's called Steampunk. So it just kind of looks like brownish red in the pan, but with the duochromes, when you look at them in one light, they're one shade or one color, and then they reflect to a different color when you put it either into or out of the light. So this one starts off as, you know, what appears to be just kind of like a brown, and then in the light, you kind of get this intense, just kind of mauvey purple, which then kind of graduates into a black. It's crazy. I don't understand the science behind it. But interestingly, this past month, I wound up lining my lower lash line with this particular shadow, and I was getting this kind of gray-blue reflect also. I kept looking at myself in the mirror that entire day. I was like, where? I don't even understand you. Where is that coming from? It looked amazing. And I don't normally go for kind of bluish gray shadows. Typically, I'm much more of a warm girl, which is what drew me to this. But it just, I don't understand it. I am like amazed and impressed by this shadow, and I use it as an outer corner color. I've used it all over the lid, which is very intense, by the way. That will give you a very dark eye look, so just be aware of that. It is also hard to remove, so I guess because of the black pigment or something in it, so be very aware of that, like I am right now, because it's on my finger, and like if I move my hair out of the way, I'm gonna like give myself like a tiger stripe, and I won't be able to get it off. So just be aware of that. But on the flip, that's actually really cool because it doesn't want to, you know, it doesn't want to go anywhere. It wants to stay put, which sometimes is a problem that I have with different shadows. And so Steampunk has blown me away. I have to get a wipey right now because I am for sure going to put this someplace that it does not belong. Couple other things I've been loving this month. I've got like a mixture of new releases and then just kind of oldies but goodies that I'm pulling up from, you know, back in the day. I have pulled back out, although I didn't actually 100% put it away ever, by OPI. It's Linkin Park After Dark, which is ironic that I'm talking about it right now because I'm wearing it, but my manicure is, I was gonna drop the F-bomb right there because it really is. It's kind of awful. And so I probably shouldn't have mentioned my nail polish right now because now I bet you're all probably looking at my fingernails. But anyway, I am going to do a manicure post-filming, and I'll probably put this back on. It is my favorite, it's probably my favorite dark nail polish ever. I know everybody talks about the Chanel one, that black one that was released, and I don't know. I have always used this one as my favorite dark one, and I never felt compelled to go spend the extra money and go buy that one. But Linkin Park After Dark is kind of a black with purple or a purple with black, and I just, P.S. I will wear it in the summertime if I just feel like it because I don't care, and sometimes I just miss it and can't wait for the season to pass. But now that the weather's getting cooler, I'm like, yes, come to mama because it's time for you to come back into my life. Okay, this next favorite of mine, I feel like such a goober. Either that or I feel old. So what I've been loving and using, which has been for maybe 6 months or so, but I've been too embarrassed to like bring it up, but I feel like I just need to confess right now. It's the White Strips by Crest, the 3D White Luxe Professional Effects. This is just one of the envelopes. I don't have the big box anymore because the box is like huge and they give you like a little bit of envelopes in there, so I dumped the box and I got rid of it. So this is why I feel like a goober. I haven't used them for quite a while because at one point I had gotten some trays, whitening trays through my dentist, and I had them, I was excited for them, and I hated them because you would get that awful tasting like slime that would go like through your mouth, and there was no way you could contain it in the tray. It was nasty. It would make me feel nauseous, and so I wouldn't use it. But I wouldn't buy anything else because I'm like, I just spent the money on those trays. I really should use those. So guess what? I wasn't using anything, and I was starting to notice that it was becoming mandatory that I use something. So I sucked it up and I went to Target and I got my 5% off with my Target card, and I bought these white strips, which I thought were a little pricey, but I was like, okay, whatever. It's been a while since I bought them in the drugstore, and that just must be the way that it goes. Did you know that the new white strips, or the not old white strips, actually stay on your teeth like a glove? Oh my gosh. I remember back in the day when white strips kind of first came out or whatever, you would like put them on and like you couldn't move, because if you moved, like the white strip would like move and you'd like find it under your armpit and you'd be like, how did you get over there? You were on my teeth 2 seconds ago. And these like stick to your teeth. Like I can talk on the phone when I've got these in. I've actually showered with these on. Forget it. If you took one of the old ones and you got in the shower, you might as well just spit it out before you even step in, because those old ones, they didn't stay put. I feel like a goober because I had no idea. I really wish I found out much sooner, which is why I'm now sharing it with you, because if you did not receive the memo or have not been updated on the wondrousness that is these white strips, you need to be informed. Now, I don't use them all the time. I kind of just use them as a refresher. I don't know if white strips are good or bad for your teeth, but you know what? If I'm not using them every day and I don't want to walk around with yellow teeth, I'm gonna make something of a sacrifice and have these after I have a glass of wine or 2 or 3, which also is probably not recommended, but I'm going to do anyway. 2 more things and then we are both out of here. I have very fine hair and I had colored it for a period of time. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with it now. I don't know if I'm gonna go lighter, if I'm gonna go darker. I don't know. I can sense I've got to make a decision and quick. But I am constantly worried about my ends because they are so fine. Because when I get split ends, it's like, they like are highlighted. Did you ever see those like sticks that when you click them on, they're like clear, and then at the very end there's like a purple ball of light and a green ball of light and a red ball of light? That's what I feel like my split ends look like. They just are like illuminated and they just show so much. So I've tried a number of different products as time has gone on. There's always new stuff being released, and I love, or I like a lot, most of the stuff that I've been using. Some of them have been lotions, some of them have been hair creams or serums or oils or thicker oils or thinner oils. Nothing does the job like the original Frizzies by John Frieda. This is the Target sticker because I picked it up in store. I had them pull it for me and I picked it up at the customer service desk, so they put this like obnoxious sticker on the front. But believe me when I tell you that this is the John Frieda original 6 Effects serum. By the way, it's false advertising. You do not actually get this much product. There is like a little like chemistry cylinder inside here, and that is actually where the product is. So you really don't get that much, but that's the beauty, is that you don't actually need that much. Nothing smooths and I feel nourishes my hair as much as the original serum. I only use it to my ends. I will use it on wet hair when I get out of the shower. I will use it on dry hair in between hair washing days, and it will just bring life to the ends of my hair. The last thing I'm gonna talk about is a fragrance, and I feel like I'm the only person in the world that likes this. It's the Elizabeth and James Nirvana White perfume. Nobody likes this one. Everybody likes the black one. I can't stand the black one. I don't know why. I just feel like it's thick and musky. Musky? I don't know. There's something about it that's not pleasing. I love the white one. I resisted for a very long time. This is a pretty pricey perfume, but I wound up getting it during the Nordstrom sale because it was being sold with the body oil as well, and it was virtually the same price at, this looks like a book. It's so big. This is the 3.4 ounce. I actually didn't read it right just then. There's no chance I could read it because it's super duper tiny, but I'm remembering that it's the 3.4 ounce. So I was happy to get the perfume. I have never, ever bothered to spend the money on a perfumed body oil. I love this. I layer with the perfume. I apply the body oil in strategic locations, keep it away from your clothes or anything that you don't want to stain. But it is so long wearing when you apply this body oil. And then I kind of, like I said, I layer then with the perfume and I smell fabulous all day. I don't care if you don't like the white one by Elizabeth and James. I live for the white one and I enjoy how I smell, which really at the end of the day is all that's important. And at the end of the day, I am still smelling good when I use the two products in combination. So those are my favorites for the month of September. Thank you for spending this time with me. What have you been loving in the month of September? As you could see, I buy things based on your recommendations. So what is it that you guys have been loving this month? I am on social media. Please check me out if you've got a minute. I am Gina Creone everywhere. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and please subscribe before you go because that definitely helps out my channel and you'll be notified when I release a new video during the week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a really great rest of the day. In the meantime, thanks.
I held off so long, by the way, on buying the white one of the two, that they have now released 2 more flavors or scents or whatever, like a brown one and like a rose gold one, and I was so annoyed. I was like, it took me forever to step up and buy the white one, and now you go ahead and you release 2 more. I refuse to smell them right now because I cannot afford to get another perfume. The first thing I want to talk about has to do with actually my last video that I put up, which was what?